See,
At
on
least
sets,
I was
though,
at the hospital.
on sets, though, you've got the AD
I
there
know,
making sure it's safe.
yeah.
You
I
are
mean,
sure
you
a
plan
professional.
it down to the inch, but it's like of all the things that took me out, it was the hospital job.
I firmly believe.
Funny.
The irony.
Right.
At least you were nearby help.
Exactly.
Right.
At least I was there.
So I've always known that I didn't want to be in the medical field.
Well, I did radiology. I knew I didn't want to be a nurse, but I did radiology and laboratory.
I'm not serious at all, and I'm not like the best people person. Like, you can tell on my face when I'm pissed or scared.
Oh yeah.
I can't hide it. That's why I'm not an actress. So,
Although, depending if you shoot, audition for the right parts, works in your favor.
I would have to audition as myself.
Why not?
So typically, when
Never thought about it.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean,
When
there's
they
jobs
cast,
for everyone. Why not?
they typically want you to do the exact same thing that you did in the audition.
Exactly. So if you're yourself, then you don't have to really practice a ton. I mean, yeah, you gotta practice your lines, but at least you don't have to constantly do the whole character research thing. If you read a character's role and you're like, that sounds like my cousin and I can do a great impression of my cousin, then you just play your cousin. Or, oh my god, that's totally me during the summer.
Let's get the producer, director part of my career.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Okay, do you wanna do like an intro here?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
You guys don't want water? I know. Oh, did you want water? Huh?
Sure, have it
Have
nearby.
water.
Yes.
Yes. Let's get caffeine over there.
Right.
If I can
Because
offer.
normal people drink
Right. Well,
stuff.
Who's normal? There's no such
Take your wrappers
thing.
off.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
okay.
Hello, welcome to The Grind, and today I have...
Leisha Davis.
Alex Eltringham.
And, tell me about yourselves.
Well, I'm like a jack of all trades, but I've worked in the film and television industry for a little over 20 years now. Also, about the same time frame, I've worked for hospital ERs, either in the laboratory or in radiology. And then, as we live in California, you always have to have more than one job. So I also do DoorDash.
Which she might have delivered to my house
Who
before.
knows?
Yeah, I'm a filmmaker. I've been doing film since I was 5 years old, so that's roughly 28 years now. I've been in many projects.
Wait, so your parents were like since you were 5, so they were casting you for roles?
No, funny enough, it was my brother. We started off doing a project of his where we were basically doing this horror film, and we went in the woods. He said he needed a child actor to be one of the main characters' younger selves for the prologue of the film. Had put me in it. He doesn't really know how well I could act, and apparently I blew them all away. So after that, my brother and I started making our own films, and it kind of just snowballed after that.
So your brother is or
Yeah.
was an actor?
He was a filmmaker, but what he does now, actually, he's a composer.
Composer. Person that puts music into the films.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so you're a jack of all trades. DoorDash, ER, and film.
Yes.
How did that all start?
Well, since a little kid, I've always wanted to be in movies. And who doesn't? But I was a little weird. Everyone's like, oh, it's really hard to become a big actress. And oh, that's fine. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be an actress. It's like, well, what do you want to do? It's like, I want to be the one thrown through the window. I want to do stunts.
Nice.
That looks like fun.
Yeah.
And so, but that's
Talking about
also-
stunts, what's the hardest stunt you've done so far in your career?
Oh, thankfully, I haven't done what I call the big stuff.
Okay.
The full explosions. I'm the one on the edge of explosions. Most of the time my job is with cars. I'm not spinning, I'm not crashing, I'm the one making the opening for the spinning car to go through.
Damn, where were you when I was doing my short film? We had a kidnapping scene and we could have used your help. Damn it.
So mine is more, I need to be extremely good with the car that I'm driving. I need to know exactly how to stop it on a dime, or I know exactly the right timing at the right space. Also coordinating with other drivers to make those needed openings for either the camera car to go through, or the spinning car, or
Makes
the
sense
explosive car.
because it's a lot of detail, you know.
Right.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
people or yourself may get hurt, you know. And,
and then sometimes they want tons of cars, so then they have extras with cars, and so then I'm usually what I call a buffer. So there's the exploding car, there's me keeping the extra guy who wants to be on camera away from the exploding car. So I put my car in places where like, you ain't getting by me, because that's happened on some films. Matrix 2 was a big one. We called it, extras trying to jockey to get into the spot, but it's like, you don't realize you're trying to put yourself near the camera, but you're also putting yourself where we're about to destroy a car.
Danger, yeah. Have you ever been in a set that somebody almost died or actually died in?
Oh, thank God, no. But we've had some car crunches, but, inadvertent, and they're always the extras with cars that end up doing. Did you know apparently backing up 4 feet in a straight line is a very difficult skill?
I don't drive.
Oh, okay.
But I would imagine so.
Well, it shouldn't. It's pretty easy. You drove straight, you stopped. Why are you turning your tire? Just put it in reverse and go back.
People manage to make the easiest of things the most difficult.
It's just like sometimes I'll be just it's like, how did you pass your driving test?
They probably did it. I'm just kidding.
We only had to do it once, right?
This is true, yeah.
So tell me something about yourselves that people don't know.
I make mead.
Meat?
Mead, M-E-A-D, the alcohol that comes from honey. It's what the Vikings used to drink. Actually, my father's recipes...
So it's honey or it's alcohol?
It's honey turned into alcohol.
Ooh, okay.
It's usually very potent. Our stuff usually gets to about 40 proof. So it's pretty high up there. We are internationally awarded. We actually have first, second, and third place and best in show.
So that would fuck me up.
If you drink enough, yeah. Just don't mix it with things.
Okay. And you sell this stuff or
Privately.
privately? You should have brought me a bottle, man.
I didn't know you would want some.
I wouldn't, but a gift is always
Maybe
nice.
try a sip.
Right,
And then
right,
be like,
you
yeah,
know.
well, at least I tried it.
Exactly. And yourself?
Oh, I'm kind of an open book now, but the big thing, especially around late 2000, or I guess 2009, because the thing happened in 2008. I'd start showing up on sets again, probably like 2009 and 10. And one of the responses that some people would do is like, I thought you died. I thought you died. And they're not 100% wrong.
What'd they say that? Was it like people you knew?
Yeah. It got around that I was in a horrible accident at the end of 2008 where I broke my neck, got a brain injury, was paralyzed. I had to do some relearning to get back.
So you basically almost died.
I crashed a few times, I'm told, because I was barely there myself.
Not on film.
Not on film. Again, it's like,
Damn it.
it's weird. Like, the things that almost take me out or hurt me have nothing to do with the crazy explosions that I'm near on sets.
Ironically enough.
Ironically enough. Well, what I was doing on that day, though, was dangerous in itself. I used to be a competitive springboard and platform diver. And, like, physics and gravity.
Well, what the fuck is that?
Oh, like Olympics, you jump on the board and
Oh, okay, yeah.
She likes taking risks.
Yeah.
Daredevil, which explains
I want to be thrown through the window.
You're a stunt person,
what I do.
of course.
I love flying through the air, and at least with diving, you land in the water, right? Well, I forgot sometimes you hit the board.
Oh shit!
So it was like physics and gravity failed at the same time. And
Mistakes make the greatest stories. So.
Totally, because people just like can't believe that actually happened, and then they show them the X-rays. They're like, "Oh my God, you really did cut! I cut my spinal cord right here." So I have plates and screws literally holding my head on. So at least I can't forget my head anymore.
Gotcha.
Glad you're mostly okay.
Right.
So it's like I look at everything with a silver lining because it could be so much worse. Because it should have been. I was pulled from the water conscious I was conscious under the water, unable to move because I was quadriplegic.
Yeah.
And they pulled me from the water, no arms, no legs.
Holy
and
shit.
they told me
walking miracle.
They told me the surgery that I desperately needed could only be done at that time. If we turned it down, no one would ever do it. I'm like, well, then do it. Duh.
Right.
And they're like, odds are you're going to die on the table or you're going to stay quadriplegic. You're guaranteed to die if you don't get this surgery. And I'm like, well, then do it. What's it going to
Right.
I'm like, just try to give me my arms back. It's all I
Right.
wanted was my arms. Because I figured, it's like, okay, I can handle learning wheelchair. I ride horses. We'll get a seatbelt for the saddle. It's fine. Just give me my arms so I can steer, drive a car, things like that. And somehow 6 hours after the surgery, I was wiggling my feet. And to this day, my neurology doctor calls me freak of nature. Because he can't figure out how I'm able to do what I do. So I do my best to take
You
every
guys
day
don't
as a
have
blessing.
any reason not to do something. You have it here, you know? Shit. Somebody who didn't have legs and their body in place and now does. That's fucking awesome.
Still doing stunts.
Still doing stunts.
Still
I'm just
working
not
in the
allowed
ER
to do
and
some
doing
things.
postmates.
And I got retrained to do certain things by a very awesome stunt coordinator who teaches some
How long
people
did
in
it
the Bay
take you to
Area.
heal?
Technically, I'm still healing.
Okay.
But for the most part, again, my nickname of Freak of Nature, I was walking within 7 days.
Damn.
Not very well, but I was walking. I felt like I was on a massive cruise ship or
You're
something.
fucking strong. You're my new hero. I want to be like her.
I say it's tenacity. It's like
Resilience.
Yes.
Resilience.
It's like if you think you're never going to walk again, you're not going to walk again. If you think maybe you can, you're going to try your best. You might get some use of your legs back because there's no guarantee. Or you might walk. I don't feel my feet 100%, but I can use them, and I'll take that any day.
Right.
So.
And you mentioned people say that they thought you died on set.
Yes.
Where are
Not
these?
on set. They just thought I died. Or while I was on set, they see me and they're like, I thought you died. I'm
Right,
like,
right.
Well, you're
What-
kind of right.
What locations do you mostly have these
Not
gigs
as
at?
much. Mostly San Francisco, Bay Area, Northern California. I don't get that response often anymore because now Facebook, word's out. Everyone can go and see I did a huge write-up of what happened that day because the hospital actually made my sister make a Facebook page for me because they were getting so many phone calls
Right.
to find out what was going on with me. So they're like, just get something public. At the time, I think MySpace still existed at the time.
They needed you to release a statement.
They needed something to get out there, but it was bad. And they were actually letting anyone come in to see me regardless. And that,
You were a celebrity.
I work in healthcare, so that's not normal, but that tells you how bad it is when if you come and say, I want to see Leisha, they don't even care if you're family or not. They let you in. That usually means they don't expect you to be here for very long. So I had friends driving hours. I thought everything happened on the same day. I found out later that my surgery was 24 hours later. I lost it in a complete day. I thought it was the same day. I didn't know how people were getting there so fast. Because they weren't. It was 24 hours. But so that's how my Facebook page started. It was because of that.
That's an epic first post.
It is.
I miss what you said. MySpace.
MySpace.
I miss
still
MySpace.
existed.
Bring it back, man.
I loved how you could put music to your post. And,
Right? I only learned
love
coding
it.
because of MySpace.
yeah. Oh, and GeoCities. Those were my first
Oh, yeah.
websites. GeoCities.
Wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive.
My first job in the industry, like most people work their way up, independence, not paid or anything like that. My first job, precision stunt driver, Matrix 2 and 3.
Nice.
I still don't know how I got the job. Somebody gave my name and I got a phone call. So I don't know, I still to this day don't know who to thank for getting my foot in the door of my dream job.
Well, congrats.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, hey, I'll take it. I wish I knew who so that I could give them a gigantic hug. But
Earth.
yeah,
God,
the universe.
the force.
I call it the universe, especially after my accident. It's weird. People used to joke and say I was Murphy's Law. Anything could go wrong, would go wrong. It was like the fates loved to dangle what I always wanted right in front of me. And then right as I'm about to grab it, they're like, yeek, haha. And so, in a way, the day of the accident was a perfect example of both world's best and world's worst luck hitting at the same time. Hit my head, broke my neck, got a spinal cord injury, brain injury that I didn't know about for 5 years, apparently. But I was only 6 minutes away from a brand new neurotrauma unit that had the 2 surgeons that pioneered the surgery I needed. It was like, whoa. And then ever since then, I've had really creepy good luck. My friends are like, this is getting a little creepy now, the luck that I get. And I was like, I think the fates are just sorry what they did to me that day. So they're showering me with good luck.
What is the hardest thing you face either in career or in your personal life? Other than this accident.
Other than that, yeah.
Pretty traumatic.
Yeah. I would say there's 2 things in the 2 different type of careers I had. In the movie industry, after my accident, I went from 110 pounds to I'm pushing maybe 210. Mm-hmm. And it's weird. The reason I weigh so much isn't because I eat. Well, I guess I do eat bad. The problem is I don't eat. I can't eat. It's something weird with the throat. I damaged my throat. It's hard to eat sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I don't get enough protein. And apparently, if you don't get enough protein, your body can't flush fluids. And so I puff. Like, I can be skinnier tomorrow or bigger tomorrow. Don't know. It'll be different. It depends on what I was eating the day before. So because of that, I fluctuate so much. So it's a little harder to get gigs. And then especially in the stunt world, and only being Northern California, it's a little harder because most people don't want to hire big girls.
Right.
Even though I have the skills, I have the talent, I can do the job.
Right.
I just don't quite look what some people want.
Right.
There are others who don't care. They just want the skill.
Right.
And I'm in a car. Who's going to see me?
Right.
Especially when they tint the windows.
Exactly.
You brought up a good subject, which is weight and being a woman, being overweight. Do you see that being a really big issue in Hollywood, in the film industry?
It's gotten better, but it's still there. Because there are still some old school people who are in charge of the hiring process of whether it's acting or stunts. Because how you get a job as a stunt is completely... You don't usually audition for a stunt job. You're just kind of given it by the stunt coordinator who knows about you because you have the skill they need for a particular part. But there are still some old school stunt coordinators who take one look at a big girl and are like, no.
I've had friends that didn't want to be my friend because I was fat.
Really? That's stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
So not friends.
Right. Exactly. Not friends.
They're not, no.
And I think it's silly if you're valuing people based on their appearance. But it's our society. It is what it is.
Well, it's hard because then in acting and movies, appearance does come into play.
Oh, definitely.
If I'm doubling an actress, of course I've got to act. I have to look like her to be the right size. Mm-hmm. But if I'm one of what they call the nondescript, which means I'm not doubling an actual person, I'm just some Joe Schmo spinning a car, falling down into a newsstand, because, all those people who can't get out of the way of the Law and Order people running down the street and falling into the newsstand. Those are all stunt people.
Right.
Why can't I do that as a big girl? There's no reason.
You're like total opposite of me because I hate pain. I hate pain. I hate swimming. I hate heights.
If you do it right, there's no pain. But
so.
That's another bonus for my accident. The nerve damage, I don't feel pain.
How about yourself?
For me, I'd say the biggest challenge of my career so far, that's probably been when a lot of my businesses failed right after the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. Really had to refocus and regroup. And
what kind of businesses?
I had a clothing business. I had an app. I had music.
App?
Yes.
What's the name? What was it?
It was called Indie Stars. It was basically a streaming platform that we were building up for independent filmmakers to be able to post their content and then also have themselves hosted to be hireable for jobs.
I think that would probably succeed now into today's society than it would have back then, I guess.
I mean, you'd hope so, but really what's going on is most people use Tubi for their films, for independent films. Amazon, whatnot, but all of them are starting to just go through distributors, so it's really hard to kind of cut through all of the noise.
Right. It's really, I don't know that aspect of filmmaking yet, as I'm like a short film person, almost getting ready to do a feature films. I don't know about distribution and all that, but it's on my career list of things, because if you want to be big, you gotta get your shit out there, and you can't do it alone, so...
Well, let me know if you need an AD. I specialize in that.
Okay. Well, potentials are endless. Anyway, so your businesses.
Yeah. They pretty much all fell apart after COVID hit, and then it's just been kind of a climb to get back up, but it's also kind of a blessing because it's also made me completely refocus on just doing film. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty cool because I've had lots of different opportunities. Worked on this film called Row Don't Drift. It's about the Japanese internment camps. It actually follows one specific survivor, Yoshi Kubo. And without having the distractions of running several businesses, I've been able to focus on that. I've been able to focus on my writing. I've since actually this year was awarded for my writing internationally. I've got 36 awards just for this one recent script that I finished.
Script like a screenwrite?
Yeah.
Okay. And was this filmed?
No, we're currently working on financing and getting our director for it. It did just get its first $1 million in funding.
Nice.
First million.
Fucking impressive.
That's good.
Okay. Well, if I'm gonna sit in a table, it's gonna be in a table full of more successful people than me.
Well, that's how you succeed. You surround yourself with more successful people.
Correct. Having failed businesses, how did it make you feel? Did you have any hate towards someone or yourself or society? How did you overcome? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, of course, depression will come when you fail. Mm-hmm. But I've always looked at things as you can stand back up, you can try again. I don't get knocked down for very long. So I overcome it by just finding something bigger and better to do.
And I notice being filmmakers, we have a big hustle towards ourselves. Like, I feel like if in order to be like a stunt person or a door dasher or a filmmaker, you have to have something pushing you always, other than yourself. Like, what's your why?
I can't avoid it. That's the honest truth. I have tried to quit film several times in my life. It's just not something that ever happens.
I quit multiple times a day, on the daily, and I'm still here because, like you said, you can't stop.
Yeah, I found this love, as I said, when I was younger, and it's just, I can't imagine myself doing anything else.
Facts. Yeah. And every time I try to have a 9-to-5 job, it just doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's God's way of telling me, do my own thing.
And it's funny, as filmmakers, we have a host of skills. I don't know what you specialize in, but it sounds like you at least direct.
Low key, more production. I produce more than I direct.
Still, producers have a lot of different skills. They deal with people all the time. So you're perfect for HR, those kinds of jobs, and yet they don't want us.
Right. Yeah, we do. We have leadership. Mm-hmm. We have people skills, customer service,
problem solving.
Yeah. Restaurant. I mean, we're all over the board. We have to just adjust all the time. Our industry is all problem solving. Yeah. Time management.
Creative problem solving.
Everything. Yeah. Well, sometimes people and
think
things
outside the box.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome about your you got funding.
Yeah.
That's about 99%
big part of it, yeah.
of the problem when you're trying to create things.
The budget's 17 million.
Shit. Like, are you like Hollywood status? How big is this film?
Um,
And what is it about?
So the film is called Path of Liberation.
I think you mentioned that. I'm sorry.
It's about a man from Pakistan fighting against first the British, and he basically spends his life trying to create a proper democracy, a secular community for Pakistan. And at the end of it, he basically finds out information about Osama bin Laden and, you know, a whole bunch of other things they're doing, and he was going to basically stop 9/11 before it happened.
And this is based on a real
This is a true story.
story. How'd you find out about it?
Funny enough, I offer my services as a writer. Someone hit me up. They said they need help with a script, and I partnered up with them.
Okay. Do you find it easy to work with other writers?
All the time. I have no problems with collaboration.
Then I guess it's a me thing. I have a hard time working with other people. Hence, I never been on anybody else's set or done any work for other person than myself.
Well, I mean, that happens sometimes, but the best way for me, my advice to you for that one, is just be open to working with other people first.
Oh, I'm 100% open.
Yeah.
100%.
That's all you need to do. Just start working with them and then kind of build your community.
Yeah, you find your right team, then you have your whole team.
Have you guys found a community?
Several.
Several. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Nice.
I kind of fit in pretty good with lots of different groups.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hang out with you.
I mean, it's one of the reasons that I do so good at the hospital. It's like other departments will come and get me because there's something, I don't know what it is. I have a weird ability to de-anger an angry patient.
Oh, yeah.
And I think, I keep telling them, which management doesn't like me.
Are you a mother?
No.
Oh.
But I have animals, and I think that's all, you know, you gotta love your animals.
Right.
But managers don't like me because I will throw them under the bus at the hospital. They don't like that.
They
Good for
don't.
you.
Because half the time, the angry patient has every right to be angry. And I'll agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually just stops them. It's like, whoa, someone actually said, yeah, this place sucks.
I mean, typically that's all they want is someone to at least
They want-
recognize what they're going through.
Okay, I have to ask. What did you feel about the CEO killing thing?
Oh, it's like really hard. It was like, no one should die because some kids lost their dad. No matter what, that's the
Just
way
being
it
a
is.
human being,
Yes.
period. You
However,
has value.
I totally understand
Yeah.
the anger of, you know, because I'm a patient myself. I got lucky with my accident, but I did actually fall through every loophole that insurance company that covered my accident. I should have had tons of physical therapy and stuff. I had zero. I did it all myself.
Damn.
And it wasn't until I got rehired by Kaiser Permanente in 2010, so years later, no, 2013 actually, almost 5 years later, and that's when I got wheeled into that ER as a patient, duct taped to a backboard because the fire department that came to get me that day recognized me and knew about my accident. And they're like, tape her down. They're like, we don't want that neck moving. But they wheeled me in with my arm on backwards. And I didn't feel it at all. I knew it was on backwards. It's kind of hard not to notice. I was like, that ain't right. And I came in joking, just like how I described it. It's like, yeah, that's not right. Can you put it back, please? And that's how I come in, and the doctors start arguing with the EMTs, saying, how much morphine did you give her? And they're like, we didn't give her anything. And they're like, well, you had to, because look at her. That's not right. I'm like, just go read my chart. And they go read the chart, and they're like, holy crap. And that's when I discovered what brain injuries were, because neurology came down. They're like, she's beyond us. She needs higher than us. I didn't even know that existed. So it's like, I learned a lot. And it turns out that insurance company understood I had a brain injury back in 2008 or 2009, because it was at the very end. I had a brain injury, and I should never have been making any of my own decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Because brain injuries is basically like a stroke or a concussion.
You're not fully there.
Right. It's like a concussion that never will end. It never ends. Like, I still have it. I will always have it. Mm-hmm. But I've learned how to deal with the weirdness. But for 5 years, I didn't know that I wasn't crazy. I did have weirdness going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
My brain did feel like a fishbowl bouncing around inside there. But I just thought I was being weird, so I kept quiet because there was nobody to help me.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I fell down, arm on backwards, and that's how I discovered it. And that's when I started getting actual care for my brain injury and my spinal cord injury that was still being affected. And so I'm doing so much better now.
Mm-hmm.
5 years later.
5 years after the accident, and now almost 16 years later, and I'm still getting physical therapy and stuff for it. So it'll never go away.
Say it's a lifetime?
Yeah, brain injuries are a lifetime thing. It's a concussion that will never end.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do about that. You
Right.
just do the best, because every brain injury is completely different.
Right.
Like, I could be sitting next to someone with a worse one, or someone who barely has one.
Mm-hmm.
Mine, I'm told, is very severe, but apparently I'm extremely high functioning.
Right.
Which, again, I will take silver lining.
I would never
Could be
have
so
thought
much
that
worse.
you've gone through all this stuff.
People who knew me before can see a difference.
Okay.
But people who meet me after, you
Right.
wouldn't know. Unless you meet me on what I call one of my brain days.
Okay.
My brain is just like, yeah, no, we ain't doing nothing.
Right.
And then you'll notice something is not quite right. Words escape me, like you get up from the couch, go to the kitchen, you can't remember why. Only
Right.
amplify that by 10.
Damn.
It's a very intense brain.
Very intense.
So
I
would
call
you
it
say
squirrel brain.
So would you say your brain is your friend or your enemy or both?
It can be both.
It can be
Depends on the day. There are
Okay.
days where I'm firing on all cylinders and people see the old me.
both. Mm-hmm.
And then there's days where I'm just like, yeah, I have no idea. I know you just spoke English, but that was a foreign language.
I mean,
no idea.
it's
what
hard
you just
enough
said.
already getting older because our bodies
Exactly.
change
Like,
and
yeah,
everything.
the joke is
slows
like, it's
down,
only going to
but-
get worse from
yeah.
here.
Fuck.
So it's like I just take it day by day. I do my best. I know my limits now. I know when I'm hitting what I call the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the wall coming, and I can do things to walk around the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Where before, I tried to fight that wall so bad it made the wall thicker, and it just made it worse. And so it wasn't until that faithful second accident day where my arm was on backwards that I discovered what was actually going on and got
It
help
took
for
two
it.
accidents.
Took 2 accidents to figure that out. The accident that caused it, and then the accident that was a symptom, because for 5 years, didn't realize about the brain injury.
And they didn't tell you? They knew though. The
knew.
doctors knew, but they didn't tell you?
Well, the doctors knew, but the insurance was blocking. The insurance was blocking my care, and I didn't know it.
That's intense.
Yeah.
That's something you need.
Exactly. It's just the healthcare system. And I told someone actually recently, there are 2 different things. There's healthcare and insurance.
Right.
And what we think is healthcare is actually insurance.
Right.
Healthcare got kicked out the door like maybe 30 years ago. It's all insurance now, because insurance didn't used to exist. I remember when I was little, and if I got a cold, my mom would pay the $15. We went to a local doctor. They gave me sample meds to go home and get better. $15. No monthly premium
Right.
to then go pay that $15. We could just pay the $15. They saw me for 5 minutes. Yeah, you got a cold. Here, take this Tamiflu stuff and feel better. Or, they discovered when I was little I had a hearing problem.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, I think, paid $15 for the doctor to whisper behind me, and I'm not hearing. And they discovered I had hearing issues.
Right.
And it cost my mom $15.
I wish that was the case
And then
now.
I got some surgeries, and I can hear and stuff like that. But now she wouldn't be able to just walk in and have me looked at. You have prior authorization. It's insurance controls everything, and it's a type of situation that's not just in healthcare. It's across all industries.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the issues that workers in the film industry are going to have working at the hospital. I see it there too. And it's all the people in charge shouldn't be in charge.
Right.
Because all they care about is the dollar. And that's healthcare now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see you as a human that needs to be cured. They see you as a continual monthly paycheck. They don't want you to get any better.
Right.
Yeah. When Obamacare came, the meetings they had us in wasn't about, oh my God, we're going to be able to take care of so many people. It's like, yes, we're going to have so much more money. This is how we want you to guarantee that you get the credit card right away. They put us in classes to try and convince patients to give us their credit card before we gave them any treatment.
Same.
It's like, I'm here to take x-rays, not to take a credit card.
Right.
That's wonderfully ethical.
Yeah.
Let's get their credit cards.
Yeah. That's what we were being taught. Not, oh my goodness, we're going to be able to take care of all these people. Though they slipped those words in, but underlined with, make sure you get that credit card. Don't tell them they can bill it. Get that credit card. Or at least get as much money as you can on that day. That's what they cared about. Sorry, we totally went off on a tangent.
Going back to your writing, how many times do you have to rewrite a script to make it at least close to perfection?
Oh, well, I would never say a script ever gets to close to perfection. It's not like theater where, it's a very sacred thing. You never change a word. I'm sure you can take some stuff out, but you never add to it. Scripts in Hollywood and film,
They're ongoing.
They're a living thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way Spielberg puts it. I think it's probably the nicest way to put it instead of rather, I think we had this thing in the 90s and early 2000s where we like to kick our writers down a bit. But
I think it's still there. But yeah.
yeah, it is. But it's okay. That's why you should always go for that producer role. Then I can kick them around. But scripts are always a living thing. And when it comes to working on drafts, we've got our first draft, we just get it on paper. The second draft, we make it work. Third draft, we make it great. And third drafts usually have 10 drafts for me.
Right.
I like to make sure I polish it really well and I kind of cover one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe one day I'll focus on one character's dialogue. And they're, something I've got to do. New rewrite because I like them to do something different. Now the action's got to change, and it's a whole thing.
Any particular script that sticks out that you had a hard time with?
Well, this Path of Liberation, that script, I think that one's on version 13.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yep. That one was rough because, we were dealing with... I'm very tired of working on projects in the 1940s, by the way. So, Road on Drip, which I actually did write some scenes for, working within the confines of the 1942. Not only that, but we have to work within historical records of things that are going on. And then Path of Liberation was much worse because it was spanning something that was from I actually think it's 1938 all the way to 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Or 85, something like that. And so... trying to write a story within a box.
Sounds complex.
You just take it one day at a time.
Right. Okay. What are you most proud of?
That I'm alive, honestly. And that especially working at the hospital, my goal every day was always to make someone smile on probably one of the worst days of their life. Because I work in the ER. So people are coming in not having a good day. I always get the most passionate about anyone who's having any kind of spinal cord injury. Because one of the ERs I work at, I kind of joke with some people and say, don't come here if you want to live. We lost the trauma rating for a reason. I actually tell people, if you're a Kaiser and you need to go to an ER, go to Vacaville. Even if you live here, go to Vacaville. You'll get seen faster and better care, which is sad.
You're talking about the Walnut Creek?
Yeah.
Bleep that out.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, they are, I'm already on their poop list anyway, and that's fine. It's like...
because you're a rebel.
Yeah. Well,
you're for the people.
I got injured on the job, and I haven't actually worked there in about 2 years now. And it's because of how bad they injured me, which is crazy. Again, don't get hurt on set. I get hurt at the hospital job, right? And it's because of a known safety issue that's still going on to this day. They never fixed it. They won't fix it because it'll cost them money. And I'm very open about it. But they can't fire me because then I can sue them. So I'm still technically an employee.
Damn.
We're working through it. The whole work comp thing, oh my god, that's a nightmare. But we're working on it and trying to find other things to do in the meantime. But I won't compromise. If someone's injured, I'm going to help them. Even if it costs Kaiser money and they want to get me in trouble, I don't care.
Good.
No. I'm just going to stick to it that way because I needed someone like that during my accident. And I did. The actual doctors and the hospital staff that took care of me, amazing. I'm alive because of them. I will never naysay them at all. Insurance dropped the ball, but those doctors, surgeons, and nurses saved my life.
Well, aren't providers just as annoyed with the insurance system?
Yes. Everyone. It's like you're fighting a system that we're losing, and you're just doing your best. And it's going to take a literal act of Congress or something to fix what's going on here. And honestly, I don't have an idea of a solution.
You mean like repealing for-profit insurance?
Yes. I actually think there's no reason we can't have slight versions of both. Have a version of the national healthcare system from England and Canada, some version of it, so that basic healthcare is covered. And if you need insurance for catastrophic events, okay, you can buy this extra insurance for a catastrophic event. But basic stuff, you should not be paying $400 a month for the privilege to go pay $50 to go see a doctor when you're sick. That's wrong. Tried to explain that to a friend of mine from France. She cannot wrap her mind around our healthcare system. She goes, but what about that $400 you pay every month? Well, that's just for the privilege of having healthcare. She goes, yeah, but what do you get with that? The privilege of having healthcare. That's literally what you get. She goes, but that doesn't come with like any visits or anything? It's like, oh no, if I want to visit, that's extra $50. She goes, but what about the $400? I'm like, for the privilege for me to go pay $50. It's like, she literally could not understand it. It's a stupid system. Are we not the only country that has something that dumb? I honestly don't know. But I think someone has even better. It's either Denmark or Sweden, and I can't remember which one has an amazing healthcare system. And I wish we had that. But yeah, we're not going to because it's a huge profit. People are getting bribed. Come on, let's face it. Someone's making money somewhere to keep it the way it is. Mm-hmm. It's sad.
What yourself?
I'm sorry, I forgot the question at this point.
I know, really. I'm so sorry.
What am I most proud of? I would say it's probably my community, actually. I've met a lot of incredible people from all walks of life who have talents in such wide array of fields and specialties, and I just love working with them. And I'm glad to have found this community.
Okay. Last question. What's next in your career?
I'm still healing, still trying to do more stunts. Everything's slowed down because, COVID, and then a lot of stuff's moving out of state. So I was just trying to
Vegas is the new LA.
I think they're building something big in Vegas. I do know of someone trying to build a very big production. I call it a compound. Mm-hmm. She's trying to do that in Missouri near Branson. Mm-hmm. So she's
land's cheap.
What?
Land's cheap.
That's true. Well, she already lives there, so that helps. Her big thing is she wants to make a gigantic studio with lots of, dubbing and voiceover sections, but actual filming locations that could mimic anywhere. And she really wants to help independent filmmakers to be able to come and use that studio and that land, 200 acres. So there's tons of different types of locations that people could choose from. But then also have buildings for sound stages. Also housing. She wants to have either mobile homes or build an apartment complex so that people
that would destroy Hollywood so bad.
And and then I started throwing ideas when she started talking about it. Just get tons of tiny homes, and then productions can sleep there, and then the film crew aren't driving home, sleeping in their car while driving and getting into crashes. They have the option to stay
Actually happening
there. Oh, crashing? It's a lot.
We had an actor die the day of filming.
I've driven home from San Francisco. I don't know what it is. if we get released from set and it's after 2 a.m., no matter what I do, I somehow end up on Grand Avenue in Oakland. I don't know how. I'd be like, did it again! I've lived here my whole life. How does that happen? And it's because I'm so tired. And this was way before the brain injury. So I'm surprised I haven't ended up on Grand Avenue more often. But this happened before, and it's because you're so exhausted. Mm-hmm. It's so exhausted. And I'm not even driving as far as some people in LA. Some of the crew in LA have to drive. Mm-hmm. Is insane. And there's always, and it's like crew work even harder than stunts we all work hard, right. But they work longer hours. And I also do background work, and I'll tell some of these, there's some really rude background people. I'm like, be nice to crew. They're here before you get here, and they're here after you leave. Mm-hmm. They're working a heck of a lot longer, and they don't get to sit down and eat snacks all day. Mm-hmm. Like, be nice.
My last shoot was 18 hours.
Yeah. It's become normal, because I've been doing this for something like 20 years.
No,
and it's gotten it's gotten steadily worse, because I used to always know it's like 12 hours max and I'm going home. Now I'm getting close to 16.
So would you say this is worse than Amazon? Or just as bad?
I think as bad in different ways.
Gotcha.
It's like each one has different ways. Like even working an 8-hour shift at Kaiser, I am more exhausted than possibly a 12 to 14 hour day on the set.
Right.
It's just every industry has its issues in total different areas, but they're grinding their employees down into nothing. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're dealing with very similar issues, just in slightly different ways. Nothing's perfect, and nothing's perfect, but it seems to be getting better because powers that be want it cheaper, faster, because they want more money.
AI.
Yes, they're already replacing most of my jobs, and scary enough, they're really trying to push it in healthcare.
Of course. Of course.
Of course. So it's like, no job is safe, but I do think the film and creative industries are the canary in the coal mine when it comes to AI. And then the crazy thing is all these tech layoffs in the AI field is like, you literally trained your replacement.
Right.
Well, actually, the bigger problem with the tech field is actually the people who have developed and created the software who are like, we got to be careful here. The higher ups, the people who know how to manage these programs, they've all been fired. And so all the people who are below them who don't know how to run all this stuff have been now taking over their jobs, and they don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. And I told someone the other day, because I have a love-hate relationship with AI when it comes to image generation and stuff like that. It can be a great tool. However, at its core, it was built upon plagiarism and copyright infringement. At its core, no matter how you look at it, it used people's creative works, whether it was voice, image, paintings, writings. It stole all of their work without compensation, and now it's become this huge industry that is barreling forward with no regulation and is going to replace humans. And I joke with people all the years, because a huge movie, I watch movies. I love movies and television. That's all I ever watch. It's like I know so many movies. But I was telling someone the other day, it's like, we are barreling toward either WALL-E or Idiocracy. And for some reason, those are now verging together at the same time. Both of them are happening now at the same, because maybe you asked me 5 years ago, I would have said we're going down one of those lanes, and now apparently we've both lanes have hit a speed bump, and they're on a crash course for each other. We're gonna do both. And it's like, that's what it is. We're heading toward humans not doing anything, and we're going to be on hoverboard things.
We should be having flying cars by now.
I know, exactly, right? Why
so disappointed we don't have flying skateboards like in the past.
I know.
I would totally have broke my arm on that one. But I would love one. And then just, it's not good. But it's like when people create these amazing things, and AI is an amazing thing. It is wonderful and great, and there could be so many amazing applications for it. But when you make something like that with no regard of controlling it, and protecting humans from it in some way, why did you make it?
Right.
You can't just make stuff and release it to the world and then go, oh, well, oops.
It's a very Michael Crichton area right now.
Yeah. Or if you look at it, I mean, it's not as bad, but Oppenheimer, the atomic bomb, they made it because they could. It was a brilliant piece of science, amazing, and it did splinter off and we learned lots of other things, but it created something that to this day we still fear because it could totally still destroy us.
Yeah, it's that mentality of doing it just to see whether or not you could,
Exactly.
never stopping to
Yeah.
think whether or not you should.
Right.
Exactly. And then the other joke that I do, because I'm doing classes at the college at DVC. I am learning cybersecurity because of the injury at Kaiser. Now I have to do slightly less physical work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to learn that. Maybe I can work at home or something. And so during one of my classes, we did it on Zoom, and I forgot what the question was, but then I answered for my group because we had to do a group thing. And then at the end of my thing that I presented for our group, I go, Skynet is real.
You said what?
Skynet is real. The teacher was laughing so hard. She agreed. She goes, you're right. It's like, Skynet is coming.
Yourself?
What's next for me is I've actually got a podcast coming myself all about how to make film. So
Nice.
it's dedicated to giving people the basic principles and to giving them the outlets and tools that they'll need to succeed. Also working on a class teaching people how to actually get auditions.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got
With or without an agent?
without. So that way you still look professional and you know what to do without needing to pay them. And by the way, that makes independent filmmakers very happy because you don't have to pay the agent's fee on
Right.
top of everything else.
I don't like sharing my money either.
Right?
'Cause I don't have an agent. I'm union now, actually. I didn't think I mentioned that. I am SAG-AFTRA.
Oh, you are sad.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And I'm trying to fight for all actors, even non-union, because I think even protecting non-union helps union members. It's the way I look at it. And I actually got elected to the local board of directors. So I'm fighting. I am a pain in the butt. I admit it. There are some people who would definitely like me not in that position anymore, but I'm fighting for every member.
Good.
And do you have any kind of free time?
Technically, yeah. Because I technically can't work at the hospital, so yeah, I'm doing DoorDash. I'm just in the car watching YouTube.
But yeah, and then I've also got I'm in development with about 9 other projects. One of them that I'm very interested in getting done is...
Wait, do you ever get free time?
I know, he sounds like he has less free time.
I have plenty of free time. I watch movies every day. But yeah, it's a documentary about mental health in California. It has to do with how atrocious some of the facilities here are, how there isn't actual care, and then who is, ultimately responsible for making sure there's quality care, and that these things that we do, the suicide hotlines, whether or not they actually do anything, who holds them accountable.
I actually called one. It was bad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've actually called one. I mean, I think we've all had moments.
Right, of
And,
course.
The frustration of, my limitations, but having no support system, and then still needing to pay bills. So you still gotta work, even though my doctors tell me you can't work that kind of job full time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't have a choice. I kind of have to. So, there are days when you just want to talk to someone, or you need help, or you need resources, or something like that. And I did call one. It was a disaster. I actually felt worse.
So the lack of accountability is always a huge problem when it comes to mental health.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I'm really interested in getting done.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a good one.
Mental health is important. We have to take care of that.
If you ever need crew person help on that one, call me.
Well, I plan on getting your number anyway.
Oh yes, I was like.
Any, where can they find you?
Well, I have Facebook, Instagram. It's all my name. Except for Instagram, I really do need to change that name.
Links down below.
Your name is. Someone should have told told me not to use that.
What is it?
Yeah,
I ride horses. I used to do extreme trail obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
Like extreme, like horse on a teeter-totter kind of, like extreme. So it's extreme cowgirl.
Yeah, it sounds like a.
I
You know what?
I know.
Yep.
It made sense when you see all my horse pictures, but then that doesn't make it any better, actually.
never mind. So the handle again is what?
Instagram is extreme cowgirl. Everything else is Leisha D or Leisha Davis.
You're so.
SRL Titan, that is my handle on Instagram. Alex J. Eltringham on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok for as long as that's going to last. Also, SRL
It won't
Titan.
go away.
I don't think it will.
It'll
Yeah.
still be there in some form. They'll find a way.
But SRL Titan.
Subscribe to them, subscribe to me, and thank you for watching. See you guys on the next one.